It's morning here when we're recording this. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Arts for the Health of It. I'm your host, Richard Wilmore.
And I'm Constanza Rader, and we have such a treat for you guys today. We're talking with Vera Oyé Yaa-Anna, and she can correct my pronunciation if need be, but she is joining us from DC, and she is with the Oyé Palaver Hut, linking arts, health, and wellness. They have an amazing program in DC, and it's just so cool. I don't even want to talk about it because she explains it so well. And anyway, it's so cool.
I know we've been talking to her for about a half an hour before this, and I feel like we should have just recorded that and then been done with it because she has so many great stories and she's funny. And we're actually going to start it off with her with laughter, which I love.
Laughter yoga. Woo-hoo.
Yes. Did you know, Stanzi, that this week is Community Health Improvement Week?
Ooh, I did see that. Can you tell us more about it?
I hope so, because I have notes right here on this card. It's June 5th through 11th is Community Health Improvement Week, and that is honoring those working to improve health and well-being of individuals and communities and advance health equity. And I was doing some research on it, and I want to put that in the comments if my mouse works. There it is. It's too far away and I'm not wearing my glasses. But I'm going to put this, the American Hospital Association has a really great website with all kinds of things for healthcare workers, healthcare like hospitals, and then people in the community to kind of get involved. And they have a hashtag CHI week that you can use. And their website is amazing. And they have some events that are going on this week. One of them is actually tonight, June 7th, a community development in practice. There's something on the 9th. There's an entire thing, the 9th through the 11th. And these are all online events that you can go to. So I'm going to throw that in the chat comments, whatever, if I can do this. Oh, now I have to press enter.
And how appropriate that we have Auntie Oyé with us today. She's working toward community health and using storytelling and the arts and, that power of community to build community and build health. So we're excited to have her on today.
Yeah, I think we should get her out here, don't you think?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start the show.
Come along with me, and I know you'll see that a song changes everything.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm super. How are you?
Oh, I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for inviting me to be with you. I am excited.
You might be my new favorite person.
I might be on board with that too.
Just everything, like the room you're in, your energy, your excitement. I love it all. So I'm glad you're here.
It helps to carry me. I'm alive. I'm healthy.
Yes.
I'm excited to be alive.
I can't wait to hear all about your organization, but I would love for us to start with your laughter yoga practice to get us started.
Okay. Yes, this is a good thing. I'm glad you asked and I'm glad you're requesting it. You see, laughter makes everything light. Laughter makes you feel like you're on top of the world. Whatever worries you have, once you start laughing and it's spontaneous, and what it does, it affects everybody. Have you seen anybody crying with people? No, but they will laugh with you. So what I do with all of the workshops that I do, we start off with laughing. And laughing yoga started with a Hindu practitioner in India. What he noticed that when you're laughing, you become a renewed person. And now I have tools that I use, but today,
We're already
Today,
laughing.
yeah. Right. So one of the simple things I do, I want to be a singer. I always wanted to be a singer, but I never had the voice. So what I will say, okay, I am going to go to uh, American Idol, and I'm going to win some money, a lot of money, and I'll take all of you who helped me win to Africa, because all of the Americans, all of you, you can sing. I can't. And the way I've been practicing, so I asked a lot of the children or everybody at work, I asked them to help me and said, okay, so now I have to clear my throat a bit because I am a storyteller. I'm not a singer, but I want to be. And I want to make this money. So you clear your throat. And I go, going on, how does that sound?
It's better than I can do.
Oh,
The commitment. Oh my gosh.
I can make it jazz if you want.
Oh.
Going down, going up, going up, going up, going up.
If you're just listening, you're gonna have to go and look up the video of this because her facial expressions are.
We might have to turn this
priceless.
into a video only, not even audio.
So now I would say to them, so what do you think? They said, now. But, and I've had it where people have paid me not to sing.
Oh no.
Please,
They've
I've
paid you
used
not
it.
to sing?
Please don't sing. Because
That's a
let me
good
tell
gig.
you, where I was in a cancer center. So for 10 years, I worked with patients in cancer wards by 4 hospitals in Washington, D.C. But when they get the news that they have cancer, that is devastating for a lot of people. So I decided, well, what I need to do is take music down there and laughter. So when you come out of that room and you come into the waiting area, I'm there. So if I'm not playing Bob Marley, then I'm laughing. And so the patient comes in and says, well, what kind of crazy woman is in here? And then the watchman, then they start laughing. So they've just been told they have cancer. But they're laughing because it's infectious. I am laughing. Everybody's there laughing. So you're laughing. And then somebody will say, you know what? Don't sing no more. Because I do my sing spiel. If guys say, yes, $25, please, please. Just don't sing. Okay. I won't sing. So then I found out what people were paying me to stop singing. This is a fundraiser. You know, they can make it work. And that's what that's what it's done. So, but the children, what I like about kids because of their honesty and they don't have any filters. So I'm in a hospital room. So I go from room to room and I'm talking with this patient and I told her about my singing. And so I started. She said she was a voice teacher. I said, oh, great. You can teach me. And I went, going up. And then the little boy says to his grandma, Mom, she can't sing. Mom, let her stop. Oh, he said, oh, Junior, don't say that to the lady. She's trying. So she's trying to keep a straight face. And the little boy said, Mom, she can't sing. Eventually, I say, you know what? I agree with Junior. I can't. And then that's the end of it. But that's what it does. So once you start laughing, you can never be upset. There's no question that is stupid or somebody's, you can't be upset. And this will carry you through the entire day. Nobody is going to take that away from you. And so I start off with laughter. And then what I'm telling, I mean, it's a great, I have a great time.
I think everyone else has a great time too. That seems very apparent. I'm having a good time.
I want to know how you pitch this idea to a hospital, because
Hey,
when
I'm gonna
we
go in.
right, when we go in and pitch the idea, it's we hire professional singers, we hire professional artists to come do this work, and you come in and you're like, I'm gonna scream at them like a cat, like a dying cat, and
Make them laugh.
this is why you should give me a grant to do this. So I'm curious, like, how you do that, how you.
Yeah, but that's what's so true in organization. This organization hire performing artists, performing and artists to come and work in hospitals, cancer centers. Because like I said, those are difficult things to hear when somebody tells you have cancer and the family's all there. And so for 10 years, this nonprofit organization called Smith, it used to be called Smith Farm, now it's Smith Center. And so they hire performing and visual artists. And so I would go in to take you on a tour to Africa, or anywhere you want to go. So one time this lady said she wanted to go to Las Vegas. I said, okay, let's go. We went to the bar. We ordered martinis. We started. She says, oh, let's get another 10 martinis. I said, oh, no. She said, but let's keep doing it. And she had a great time. So what happens, the minute the patient starts working with you, the patient forgets that she's in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So the activity, especially the laughter, takes away the pain. So the patient will later on say, I was in pain, but I'm not. So I teach that. And another thing I often used to teach them is telling their stories, because the thing they would say to me, well, there's no one to listen. I said, no, go to the store, go to Radio Shack, buy a small recorder, because in storytelling, two things you need. You need to use your imagination and you need listeners. Guess what? You be your own listener. Take whatever you want, put record, and press play. You play it. And then you can be your own listener. So don't wait for people to show up. You pretend. Because even when I want to rehearse as a solo person, I use the mirror. And again, telling them about laughter. Yeah. Go to the mirror if you want to start laughing earlier and start making faces.
This is why I wanted her as close to the camera as possible.
Oh my gosh. This is the best. It reminds me of a quote. And I'm not going to remember it, but essentially it was like laughter turns tragedy on its head and it allows us to be a victor instead of a victim when we laugh, especially when we laugh at hard things or laugh at ourselves when we're being silly. I want to hear more about your organization too. Can you tell us a little bit about Oyé Palaver Hut? Tell us about it. Tell us the idea behind it and what you guys do.
Well, I am a storyteller, professional storyteller. And so I teach communities, schools, community center, how to tell their stories. And so we do everything about Africa. I will take you on a tour. So we go through the music. If you want to play the djembe, the African drums, if you want to play the keyboards, if you want to dance, if you want to tell your story. So we do the entire spectrum of activities. And the kids have choices. So Palaver Hut has been around since 1993 in Los Angeles. And then here we started 1996. And so this is what I've been doing. I work with a lot of artists. I've worked with a dancer, I work with a drummer, all of these are all masters. So our activities, high energy and first class, because all of these people, and that's why I always have to look for grants to pay, because the one thing I want to make sure that the artist is being paid. And so we do this 3 or 4 times a week, and it's after school. And sometimes we have special events. So when we are coming up with our programs, we invite children. Believe you me, if children could write their own checks, I wouldn't hang with adults. I would hang with them. One thing I like about kids, I've never heard a kid say we can't.
Mm.
When we started to say, oh, let's do it, let's do. I mean, when it's jumping up, and I like that. I like that energy. I like the fact that they're excited. You take the same information to most adults. Oh no, where are we gonna do this? Who's gonna call somebody? You think we can really pull this off? So when I'm with the children, I never hear that. With the adults, that's what I hear. And so I bring them to the table with me, and I take their ideas to the adults. The other thing I let the children know is I work for them. We work for them. And the teacher said, oh, don't tell them. I said, I need to tell them to empower them. Because if the children are not there, who are you going to teach?
Hmm.
And a kid one time did ask me that question, because I was in one of these low income neighborhoods, and I didn't know the children they were not interested in what I had to say, and they were misbehaving. So I asked each one of them to leave the room. Well, with 15 kids, I had none. Then one kid, 7 years old, he comes back and he says, where are the children, Auntie Oyé? I said, oh, I asked them to leave because they were misbehaving. He said, but who are you going to teach? I said, you're right. No one. He says, you want me to tell you how you can get them back? I said, yes, please help me. He said, okay, let's go to CVS and buy some candy. I said, candy? I don't want. He said, you want them back or not? This is their choice. You want the kids? He said, then you got to go get the candy. Okay. So I went with him. We went to the store. Then he comes back and he calls them. She's got candy. He's making this announcement. She's got candy. Everybody runs. And then when I bought licorice, so I'm going to divide. I said, oh, you have to share. Where they're giving each other the tiniest pieces. And I said, oh, that is Auntie Oyé, I can't give them all of what I have. I can only give them this much. And I said, oh my God. So one thing I found out, I often ask the children to teach me how to teach them.
Hmm.
Okay, and it works. Once you bring them in as a partner, you don't have a problem. Because I'll often say, one thing they will do, I used to have another one, I put her in charge. Shut up! I said, oh no, you can't be screaming. Shut up! That's all she would scream. I said, oh God. So the minute, and the other thing we have a nutrition program where they become chefs, where everybody wants to be a chef, and then they start giving themselves French names.
Oh.
They connect cooking with France. Oh, my name is Pierre. And then they come with an accent. I mean, how a 5-year-old come up with this? So they're the best people on earth to teach, really. I have the best time. I look forward to meeting them every day. When I get through with this interview, I've got a session. And so now the new program I'm teaching them is jazz appreciation. So I'm teaching them about the great jazz masters, because jazz is America's indigenous music. And And so I told them about Charlie Parker. You all know Charlie Parker, the famous uh, saxophonist. And so this little kid comes to me. She's 5 years old, and I tell the story about Charlie Parker. She says, "No, Auntie Oyé, his name is Charlie Brown." I said, "No, this because she knows her Charlie Brown is her Charlie Brown." So she thought I was making a mistake. So she pulled in my coat. "No, Auntie Oyé, it's Charlie Brown." I tried to tell her about Charlie Parker. She wouldn't listen, so I gave up. Then I would bring in a real saxophonist, Herb Scott, who graduated from Ellington High School. And so he would bring and explain the instrument to them and tell them about his school. So as soon as this guy shows up, this kid runs. "Are you Charlie Parker?" He said, "No." "Are you following? Are you Charlie?" "No, no." "Are you So finally she asked me, "Well, whatever happened to Charlie Parker?" I said, "You know what? I don't know. He died in the What did he die from?" I said, "Okay, that's the end of it. I don't know. You asked me about the man. I don't know what happened to it." But they have a curiosity about these people, Ella Fitzgerald, all of these stories I'm telling them, and then they get to color. We have the coloring paper and pencil to color the artists. And they can sing and the songs. It's amazing. So I'm having a lot of fun with them. So I'm doing things that I would love somebody who did that. I took music appreciation in Africa, and that's so I know about a lot about jazz, which is America's indigenous music. And so the children now are having a good time, and we're teaching because the kid who told me about Charlie Brown, she's 5 years old and she's in kindergarten. Because I had said I only wanted to start with the kids from second grade, but I told them, send even the babies. Just send everybody, I wouldn't have any age restriction because if a 5-year-old could think this up and to pull my coat and say, "No, you give him the wrong name," because she knew Charlie, Charlie Brown, and I'm talking about Charlie Parker. And they called me yesterday. "Oh, can you please come and do? Someone kept the kids." I said, "Nope, I'm booked. I can't." Yeah, and so yeah, I'm very, very busy right now.
It sounds like it. I want to take a quick break, and then I want to hear how you even got into this world and into this life that you're now living. I'm very curious about if you did something before that and transitioned to this, or if this has always been your life's work. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Auntie Oyé and storytelling and laughing and bad singing after this.
Yes.
Whether you consider yourself a musician or not, music is all around us, and it affects our everyday lives. Whether it's background music influencing our shopping habits in a store, organ music adding the vibe to a baseball game, or a playlist convincing us to keep going on that last mile of a run. I'm Mindy Peterson, host of the podcast Enhance Life with Music, where we take a holistic look at the power of music in our everyday lives through the lens of science and health, sports and entertainment, business, and education. You can find me and Enhance Life with Music at mpetersonmusic.com/podcast or wherever you get your audio. Unleash the power of music.
Medical professionals are burning out at an alarming rate. Burnout can cause health workers to feel hopeless, trapped, helpless, worthless, depressed, sleepless, and tired. By joining the Hearts Need Art Gratitude Grams program, medical staff receive a personalized email and video from a musician, an artist, or writer once a week that includes a message of thanks, an encouraging song, uplifting poem, or a simple art activity. After watching their gratitude gram, participants report feeling more hopeful, empowered, energized, and appreciated. If you are or know a healthcare worker that would like to receive free gratitude grams, please visit heartsneedart.com
And we're back. Now, I want to hear how you even got into what you're doing now. And if you always, I'm always curious if people always knew that it was arts and health, or if it was just like, I'm doing this fun thing to distract them, and then you started making the correlation between the two.
Well, I got into this. Okay, so as a storyteller, I was recruited by an organization. They were looking for artists and recruited me to come and work with patients in the hospital. I had never done this. And because as a performing artist, so you do story, dance, and different things. And they said, oh, well, they were going into a Black hospital, Howard University Hospital. And this organization is white owned. And so they were recruiting, and somebody recommended that they call me. And I went, had the interview, and that's how we started. And so I knew nothing really about cancer, chemo, none of this. But it was so interesting because you see the transformation of the patients right there before you. I'm talking about the woman who wanted to go to Vegas, or somebody wanting to do something. And it was just so interesting. I met so many people, but I didn't think they were going to die. And so that was the only sad part of what I had to do, because I would come in to meet with the person, and I would come the following day to only to be told, oh, she expired. The first time I heard expired, so what is it? A library book? I didn't know that's what they refer to somebody expiration point, And it would be sad. I would go and meditate. I'm a meditator. I would go and meditate, cry a little bit, and go back. But it was sad. But I met some of the most amazing people there. Now, as I'm telling them my story, then they start telling me their story. And this is what the restoration is coming through. And it was fascinating. I all of the people I met, everybody died. But I have such fond memories of these people. Like I got a CD, and I got a grant to do a CD from a lady, cancer patient. She was dying. I didn't know she was dying. And she was telling me stories. She was telling she grew up in Washington, D.C., in the place called Black Broadway. This is where all the Black stars, African-American stars, would go. And she knew all these stories about all these different people. And I asked her, how did you know all these stories? She says, from under the table. I said, under the table? What's that? Well, she and her brother, the family entertained a lot, and guests would come. People like Duke Ellington would come to visit them. And so they went underneath the table. So the people did not know they were under the table listening. And I said, oh my God, at that moment, it was revealed to me to do a story and name it Stories Under the Table. Consuelo, I'll never forget her. The following day, when I got there to see Consuelo, she died that night. So I believe she just brought me the information. And so I won a grant, and I did the stories and the name of the CD is Stories Under the Table. But like I said, this was new to me. I had no idea I was going to be doing anything like that, and loving every moment of it. It was, I met amazing people. It was, whew, it took my breath a lot of times, and I'm so grateful I had this opportunity. The other sadness, I work with sick children, and this one kid She's about 10 years old. And I went to see her one day, and she says, I'm going to be dead by tomorrow. Kids, because they don't have any filter, they just matter of fact, oh, I'm going to be dead by tomorrow. Huh?
Hmm.
She says, because, oh, they have given me up. Really? I said, hi, but she said, I'm giving myself up too. I go, oh my God, how can a little kid say this? I mean, oh my God. So now imagine trying to sit there and keep a straight face. The only way I could do that is through laughter. I had to tell funny stories for myself.
Hmm.
So that's where the healing comes in. Because this kid had resigned herself, oh, I'm leaving 2 days. But I couldn't handle it. So let's start doing stories. I tell one funny story, she tell a funny story. And we're trading stories back and forth. Yeah, she was right. 2 days she was dead. And all I could think about was the happy times I had with her.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
this.
so how did you go from that to starting your organization?
Oh, well, I always had the organization, but of course,
Oh, I see.
you come to a new place. I was just doing this for a minute. I still did my performing. So my performance, yeah, my I started my organization 1993. And yeah, so when I came to Washington, D.C. To do a program for Bill Clinton's inauguration. That was 1996. And it didn't happen. I was too embarrassed to return to LA. So I just stayed. Now, I was foolish enough. I didn't know in Los Angeles that people send you money. And I didn't, my organization wasn't a nonprofit, but when I came here, I was told it had to be a nonprofit to be able to receive money from to the general public. And so I would have organized West African dinner theaters. And in that theater, you're coming to dinner, but you're coming to learn. So, for instance, I may do one country, Ghana. So I would do the food, the fashion, the history, and the culture. And people from that country would be there. And that's how I started. So when I came to DC, I tried to do the same thing, but then I met the children and realized, the only people who were really listening to me were the kids. The kids wanted, so I would go to the market, purchase food, and when you're talking about African stories, invariably you start talking about food, you start talking about a lifestyle. What the children from this organization wanted to know, about you, how you got here. So I asked them, where do you think Africans get their food from? And they said they hunt for their food. I said, okay, I'm from West Africa. I live on Capitol Hill. Where do you think I get my food? So you hunt for your food. From where? Rock Creek Park. I laughed at my 30 kids. I laughed, and they were looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Where do you really get your food from? So I told them about the open air market and all of that. They said, well, can you take us to the market? So I went to find a grant, and the organization of the school said they didn't have it. So I went to another organization, right? So I decided, okay, prepare food and show them. When the kids came to this event, they didn't eat. They wanted to ask, how come the rice is red? Then I made chicken. I roasted chicken. Where's the box the chicken came out of? Because they used to get the chicken in Kentucky Fried box. Where's that box? Where's the box the juice came out of the ketchup? And then I said, okay, you got to go to the market. And then this one kid asked me, can you do an African food workshop? And that's how I pivot. And from that day, I decided, these are the people I'm going to give the information to.
Mm.
Yeah, and I do things for adults, but it's very expensive. So I decide, because all the recipes, even the kids who can't write, they know how to make guacamole. They know how to make this, and whatever. They have retention, and they become chefs, and they know how to do this, know how to do that. And kids have given me recipes. Like I make this spinach and cilantro. The kids said, because we know from spinach, from the character.
Popeye.
Right. So that he said, oh, the spinach is bland. Can you mix it with something else? And one day I'm mixing it with cilantro, and again, oh my God, this is nice. And we ate it with couscous. And I told him, I said, oh, Aaron, this came out. Aaron is still cooking today. He says, okay, let's do it. And we made couscous and that. So
that sounds delicious.
So the other thing, all of them know how to make fruit salad. We make fruit salad. We have a chopper. We have everything. And we use yogurt dressing. So everybody I've worked with, every kid knows how to make a fruit salad. And I can never make enough. They will eat it up. And so it just became, it's like I've been doing this my whole life, and like I said, I'm enjoying it because the children come up with ideas and they ask questions. So when you are the chef for the day, then you will ask your friend, what is this? How do we put this together? Why do we put this together? So they can give them that explanation. And because I'm giving them the information, I want them to take it home to their parents so they can cook with their parents. Yeah. So
I want to be selfish and keep you here all day and just talk to you. But I know you said that you have a session right after us, so we're almost out of time. But I know you wanted to talk about your flashcards. So I want to make sure we bring that up and tell us about those and what you do with them.
Yeah, the flashcards, like I said, because a lot of people don't know much about Africa. And Africa is a vast continent. And people are easily intimidated by it. So, okay, like a question is, what is the call and response? When your siblings call you, when you hide, one person call out and a group answers, or when you try to find your clothes? Okay, so we got the answers right there. So
what's the answer?
What's the answer? Call and response?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when you call, when somebody calls, one person calls and a group answers. So that's what it's called, a response.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The other one we have, what are the drums used for in Africa apart from music? A, to test students. B, to cook it. C, to communicate messages. It will be C, to communicate messages. So these are the things, we share with them. And then this, your shekere. Shekere, it's a percussion. It's in a baby's toys, a percussion instrument made from a gourd, a big long earring made from seashells. So that would be B. How many countries are there in Africa? 25, 30, 55. So these are things I'm sharing with them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so they get the cards and we're able to have discussion. And they don't know because nobody has told them, or somebody told them and they forgot. So it doesn't matter. You just got to keep working with them and telling them. And the way I prefer that they ask me anything I don't know, we can go on the internet and find it.
You can find it on TikTok, probably.
Yeah, they're going to take that.
Yes. I would love for you to come back and like spend the entire half an hour like building a story, like showing us using Stanzi and myself of how you do that with a patient. Because I think
Storytelling.
I think that would be so fun to just do that and watch you work, because I would love to be a fly on the wall.
That would be really nice, because one of the things, in fact, I'm doing on Thursday, okay, I'm teaching children how to tell, okay, you know what a griot is, right? A West African griot. It's a storyteller. And griot is French for storytelling. And so want to teaching children about your family. So you are going to interview your family, ask them some things, and then you can come back. Either you can do fiction or you can do reality. It's up to you. Because again, using your imagination, and I tell children all the time, and one time this kid did this with me. She told me her father had roommate and they lived in this big house, and the cook, and he lived in Pennsylvania and she lived in DC. But I didn't really, I was kind of concerned. How come she always going to visit her father? He could never come and visit. So, but the story was so compelling. 3 days later, I see the grandmother on the street, and I told her, oh, China told us this fabulous story about her father. She said she's never seen his father. The father been in jail since she been born. So, oh my God. So I said, but don't let her know that I know the truth. But she used, this is the story she wanted. I didn't know that's what they call the big house is mean jail. I didn't know. So she's telling me, someone who's not come from her culture, and that, but that story was amazing because she took me to the house. I sat at the table. I was in the kitchen, and I go, oh my God, this is fabulous. She's never seen her father because he's been in jail.
Wow.
But she used her imagination.
Yep. Oh, so good. The work you're doing is so important and beautiful. And thank you for taking time to come on and share it with us. This has been so much fun. And thanks for making us laugh and sharing stories. And this has been so great. Thank you so much for coming on.
But thank you all so much for having me. But if you please send me the email and send me your address, I can mail you all the flashcards so you can see what I'm talking about, and send you the CD that the woman, on the stories under the table.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
How can people best connect with you? Is it through your website or TikTok? I'm assuming.
No,
not TikTok. Website. Go to the website.
Go to the website because I don't know how to even go to access TikTok. And we don't want to eat TikTok food.
It's a story she'll tell. I think we talked about this before we went live, but it's a story she'll tell the next time she comes back about her love of TikTok, and that's how she gets all of her food recipes, is what I found out before.
TikTok food, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good. We started with laughter and we ended with laughter. So we're going to stop there because usually we end up crying. So we'll stop.
We'll stop with laughter.
Yes. So thank you for watching and listening wherever you did those things. Make sure you subscribe.
And continue to do the work that you do. Continue to do the work. And thank you for all you do. And thank you for taking time to have me. You have made my day.
You made our day. This was great.
Well, thank you. I don't even know what to say. I love you, and we'll just see you next time, everyone. Keep creating.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Arts for the Health of It, a podcast produced by Hearts Need Art, creative support for patients and caregivers, in partnership with the National Organization for Arts and Health. You can help others learn about the healing power of the arts by subscribing, sharing, and reviewing the podcast wherever you listen or watch. The podcast is hosted by Richard Wilmore, co-hosted by Constanza Rader. Our theme song, Songbird, is written and performed by Natalie Lane. Visit heartsneedart.org to learn how you can support our mission to create joy with people facing life-altering health challenges. Join us next week to learn more ways you can create arts for the health of it. The views expressed on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of Hearts Need Art, their staff, board members, or other affiliates. All content is created for informational purposes only. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice or to diagnose and treat any health condition. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health professional with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you heard on this podcast.